The AMGSC, never shy of a challenge, has elected to take on one of racing's notoriously difficult multi-class tracks. Packing a technical layout with a short lap, Laguna Seca acts as the stage today for what is anticipated to be a patience-trying event. Will speed be the deciding factor for our winners, or will it be a matter of attrition that rewards the safe and steady driver? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch Round 7 of the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sportscar Challenge, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth covering the prototype and GTLM classes is Bill Soup Zahn. Keeping us up on the GTD class is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, Laguna Seca has a lot of history with American sports car racing, so why don't you introduce us to the place?
Boy, I certainly will. It's, located just a few miles off the coast of Central California near Monterey and the famous Pebble Beach Golf Course. In Spanish, Laguna Seca means dry lake. Look at the surrounding landscape. You'll see a lot of dust, a lot of dirt. It simply supports that translation. They built this track in 1957, and it was a regular stop for kart from 1983 to 2004. And the Indy Lights still come here. So does the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Series. But it is 3.6 kilometers, 2.2 miles around, with an elevation change equal to about an 18-story building. There are 11 turns that include the iconic corkscrew. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like is to jump on board the GSRC, I'm not sure which car, the BMW that we're in here, and take a lap around Laguna Seca.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown behind the wheel of the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Laguna Seca. The bend over the crest is technically turn 1, but it's flat out the whole way over. From there, line the car up on the right and brake for the Andretti hairpin. This is probably your best passing opportunity on the track, so expect lots of action around this double apexer. As we pass the pit exit, we switch left and get the car slowed for 3. Greedy drivers will probably run wide here often. Then it's a short burst before 4, which is a pretty fast right-hander. But it's critical to nail it because there's a bit of a stretch until 5. Anyone close to you could take advantage of a mistake and sneak a pass up the inside into this uphill left turn. And you really don't want to be going too wide here because this turn is all about momentum since it's cambered and very steep on exit. After that, 6 is even less desirable to go through side by side. It's a sharp flick and single file only. Cars can end up in the walls on either side with the smallest mistake. But by now we're at the top of the Rahal Straight and hitting the infamous corkscrew. Blind braking point, blind turn in, blind everything as you drop down multiple stories of elevation. Before you have time to relax though, you're into Rainy Curve. This is the longest turn on the track and it's got a very late apex. From there, we cross the track and brush the brakes for 10. Lots of banking here, so carry your speed through the apex. At last, it's the final hairpin. Once again, if you're sneaky and your opponent makes a mistake, this can be a possible place to pass. Just be careful that it doesn't become a dive bomb. From there, head back up the hill to the start-finish line and complete a lap around Laguna Seca. Pretty quick laps are going to be rifled off around here. That was the slowest class that you were watching, the GTD cars doing that lap around here. So imagine how fast it's going to be in the HPDs, high downforce machinery. Now, a guy that isn't too fast about his championship updates and gives us the skinny is Bill Soup Zahn, so let's throw to him.
Well, the laps are quick here at Laguna Seca, but not the lap around the U.S. It's taken this series 6 races to cross the U.S. and finds itself finally on the West Coast for round 7 before crossing the Pacific for 3 races in Japan and Australia to kick off the next calendar year. But let's get to the points, and we'll start with the prototypes. Now, Road Atlanta was not kind to either Cy Ander or John Ulmer, who finished 9th and 10th respectively. Now, Ander used up his drop race insurance early on in the season, so he was hit a bit harder than Ulmer was. When everything was added up, the privateer fell out of the lead, a point behind the Autobahn Motorsports West Star. TMC Carbon's Mark Schindel and Clan AOD.net's Alex Simonik were both no-shows as well. So like Ulmer and Andra, those Georgian races are going to be dropped into the dropped race column. Daniel Gralti was there, however, for SRN, coming home 3rd, and that's why he moves on to the overlay in 4th. Let's go to the GTLMs, where unlike the prototypes where absence and bad luck abounded, the GTLMs held more to form. AOD Racing's Jeffrey the Mantra Ooms picked up his 3rd win of the season. Second in points was second on the track, and that is in the form of TMC Carbon Stephen McGarvey. A 4th for Billy Smith moved the Autobahn Motorsports West driver into 3rd. Around Paul Oh My Darling, who suffered a 12th. Welcome to the Overlay SRN Motorsports Ryan Huff, who has a podium and 3 top 5s and counting. To the GTDs. Now, when it comes to Rainier Racing, Bradley Haley, he only wins races when he wins poles, and if he wins the poles, he wins the race. Something to watch out for in qualifying. Not sure if Bradley is here tonight. Second in Road Atlanta, second in the points for privateer Dennis Savretic. 3rd for Road Atlanta, 3rd in the points for SRN Scott McGarvey. Kevin Santana will hope his 15th place result will get to go into the drop column and stay there all season long. And fan favorite, Sheldon Rosenblum, but before I started reading this script, was actually on the pole for the GTDs. Well, the Canadian driver has a win and 5ths in his last 2 times out, and that's why we find him on the chart. Let's finally go to the team championship. This is last but not least. Ralty, Huff, and McGarvey are all on the top 5 overlays for SRN Motorsports, and that's why that team's up front. Whatever points that David Tejeda can chip in the GTD class will help Autobahn West. The Comet is doing the heavy lifting for Rainier Racing. TMC Carbon falls out of the tie for 3rd. And the Mantra, Jeffrey Ooms, could use as much help as he can get from his other teammates as AOD rounds out the graphic. Okay, Joe, with the next Mondays falling on Christmas and New Year's, the drivers will be closing out 2017 tonight. They hope to do it on a high note.
Well, I hope so, too. It's certainly going to be difficult because we're kind of expecting traffic and difficulty in passing to cause a little bit of a headache for most drivers out there. And speaking of the passing, Sean, this track is kind of notorious for being difficult to overtake. So if any is going to take place today, where do you expect it?
Probably, your first good passing opportunity is probably going to be the front straightaway, obviously. Down into turn into the hairpin, it's going to be a little bit of a fight. So the front straightaway, basically coming out of 11, that whole section there, that's going to be a really good opportunity to get passing done. Turn 5 is another good opportunity there. You finally get out of 3 and 4, and you get a lot of speed there into turn 5. Be looking for cars to maybe get their way around there. Turn 6 is definitely not where it's going to happen. Turn 6 is nasty enough by itself. I don't think you'll see much passing there. More or less, you'll be picking up positions from other cars getting off track there. It gets really dusty, really slick down through there. Pretty warm track today, so 80 degrees on track. Now, you're not going to see it in the corkscrew either, Joe, because that's something we'll probably be talking about quite a bit as these laps go pretty quick. And well, let's face it, there's going to be traffic pretty much for most of this race.
I wouldn't doubt that in the least, and I expect a few drivers to have problems even if they are driving on their own and they don't have any traffic around them. Now, we're watching Paul Darling run around the track in the last chance qualifying, and he's the only car out on track right now in the last chance qualifying. He did have one other person out there, and I can't remember quite who that was before we jumped away to the points. But if you haven't watched the Autobahn series, of course, the last chance qualifying is mixed class typically. And the way that works is each class has its own 15 minutes qualifying leading up to this point. And then the final 15 minutes are devoted to mixed class for anybody who has not turned a lap and their designated class is qualifying, just to maybe give guys a little bit of leeway in case they have real world stuff to deal with. Now, you see Alex Ellis there, and he is sitting on the pole. That is correct. A little bit of a surprise to us. He was decent 2 weeks ago at Road Atlanta, but didn't expect him to be this fast here. And then we saw Robert Tinsey, who currently holds up second, and Cy Andra well down the order, unusual for him, which brings me to the point that I want to talk to you about, Bill, which is Mike Young taking a win. In fact, I'm pretty sure his first win in the Autobahn series. What are your thoughts on that? That was kind of special circumstances.
Kind of a hello, welcome to the series, and he picks one up. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Too bad he's not back here again to follow up on his debut race. But yeah, Ellis looks good. Ellis, if he can bring it home safely, we're always happy to see new guys with Ellis and Young in there, get a few new names mixed up in there. But other than Young, all the big names are here today. Tinsey is back. He's missed a couple. Omer, of course, is always here. Simonic, looking for him to pick up a good win. Andre way down the list. And Carter Kundinger keeps picking up the pace a little bit. Don't forget about Daniel Gralty. He can be fast, too. Mark Schindel, third in the points. Okay, that's enough. I've talked about it. Woo. I'm excited. Did I sound excited?
Well, I understand. I'm kind of excited to see how this race plays out. We've seen a number of just unexpected results this season, which has really shaken up the championship. And if I could jump over to Sean to talk about the GTDs. Now, I know you weren't here for most of last season, but for what you missed, Sean, Bradley Haley was in a titanic fight with Lauro Costa when it was the GT3 class. Now it's GTDs. Mm-hmm. Now, Haley doesn't have Costa here this season, and it seems like he's determined to try and take away the championship. But even though he's not here today, Savretic, he's been a serious threat. He hasn't won as many as Haley, but do you think he could be the one to deny him?
And just to correct you, Joe, look who showed up. Bradley Haley's on the chart now.
No. Haley's here, but Savretic is not.
Savretic's not here. Okay.
Savretic's not here, and he hasn't finished lower than second since Daytona, and even then it was a fourth. So, you know what? He's probably the biggest threat to Haley not being here. Haley's got to be breathing maybe a little bit easier. When you start comparing I ratings and driver skill, you're going to be hard pressed to find anybody else in the GTD field here today anyway that matches the accomplishments of Mr. Bradley Haley of the 5,853 I rating.
Wow.
Yeah,
yeah. From the comment. Yeah. As we watch Darling continue to put that lap in. Looking over the GTLMs, Ooms, man, has just been on a streak. I think that was that his third win in a row that we saw last round?
Yeah, no, he has four. I think he's got three coming. He's really, really strong. He had an off week in there. Honestly, the racing has been very, very polite in that series. They pretty much race in order early on and decided late. Ooms is here today, Smith. The guy that I want to keep an eye on is Ryan Huff. He's been hot lately. He's third fastest right now in that Ford. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
And I don't see Jason Girard here in that class as he's swapped over to it. Took a win a little bit earlier, but just I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't been as much of a factor in the GTLMs. It seemed like he was kind of off pace at Atlanta.
Yeah, I guess I really couldn't say about the learning curve between coming out of the prototypes where he was really fast, going down to the GTLMs. He really hasn't been a factor, not that you would expect. The guys that have been really strong, Stephen McGarvey is beginning to come into form, but again, it looks like his brother's here. I don't see Stephen with us today. His brother Scott's down there in the GTDs.
Well, let's look at this. We got mixed class qualifying now as Chris Pence has jumped out there. And I believe only one Chris Pence is out there this time, if I'm correct.
Chris signed in last race with the wrong car, and I hope he didn't actually sign up and get a brand new.
I doubt he went that far.
Jumped in as his alternate account.
Riding on board, you can see his best lap only a 1:15.4 right now, which puts him quite a bit behind the next car up, which is Kondrowski. It's the last HBD with a timed lap right now, but that could be because he may have only had one lap so far. In fact, yeah, he's only had two.
Right. Yeah, he kind of, I don't know, maybe he was taking a nap during the qualifying session, not sure, but now finally getting to it here.
All right, he crosses the line, and he goes a little bit faster, but not a whole lot, a 1:14.7. He's got some time to make up. I'm not sure. In fact, he didn't get any practice times in at all either, so this could be simply the first laps as he makes a mistake coming out of the Andretti hairpin that we've seen at all from Chris Pence in practice for this race. He could be under the gun.
Yeah, this is the kind of track, too, where qualifying really important. Sometimes it doesn't matter because passing is so easy. Here, passing is going to be at a premium. You want to get a good spot on the grid.
Ooh, Paul Darling having a little bit of a spin in that final corner, that last hairpin. He's going to try and whip it around, I think, maybe. There he goes now. He's got it turned back around and heading on up the front stretch. But it's not going to be enough time for him to put any more laps in. As you can see, the clock has ticked down. We should be getting the checkered flag for the qualifying here in the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sports Car Challenge. We're on round 7 here at Laguna Seca. weren't even sure if we were going to race here until a couple days ago, as iRacing had a glitch here recently, and they thankfully got it fixed, so we should be all back to normal. But there was a bit of a panic on whether or not we were going to be able to get today's race in at this track, or they'd have to have an emergency switch somewhere else. And it looks like, did Darling cross the line? It looks like he's going to get time to try and complete this maybe then. Just enough time.
I think this one's going to count.
I'm glad that he got that car turned around as quick as he did then, because couldn't have cut it much more close. He comes through the signature corner of this track, the corkscrew, down through Rainy Curve, and coming up to turn 11. Incredibly steep and banked for a road course, I always thought, Bill.
Yeah, I like it. You can never bank a corner enough for me. You know, as he get this, we'll see how he does here as he works through that final corner. You know, the drivers are always happy when iRacing does a bug fix, but I think a lot of them were kind of hoping that the bug wouldn't get fixed. A lot of drivers did not want to race here.
Yeah, it didn't seem terribly popular, but their suggestions didn't seem too much better. There was a few people wanting Sonoma, and I'm like, I don't think that'll help the traffic problems.
Well, they wanted to cut down on travel costs, I think. It was
there you go. All right, that is our grid settled. So let's go through our order. Alex Ellis on the pole. How about that? Let's see if he can translate it into a win. He's got to fight off Robert Tins, who's going to start on the front row with him. John Ulmer will start in third, with P4 going to Alex Simonek at the green flag. Carter Kundinger will start in fifth with Cy Andra next to him in sixth. Row 4 will start with Lionel DePratt. He'll be seventh. Mark Schindel will be eighth, and Daniel Gralty will be ninth. Top 10 is going to be rounded out by Mark Wilson, and then David Sockrider will start off row 6 in 11th. Mark Godrowski will be 12th, and Chris Pence will round out our field with lap times in 13th. Scott Corbin is on there, but I'm not sure if he's going to be starting this race. Let's go to Bill.
Okay, a pair of Ferraris on the front. It's going to be Jeffrey the Mantra Ooms and Billy Smith. Then Ryan Huff in the Ford. Leif Peterson and Paul Darling behind them. Patrick Fleming, Jimbo Pfeiffer, Dave Hill, and the final three rounding it out, Samuel Scott, Miguel Meyer, and Dale Green. And I think all the GTLM cars got in their qualifying. Sean?
All right, and in the GTD class, it's going to be Bradley Haley on the pole this week. Scott McGarvey going to start there in second. Let's see, Giuliano Romagnolo will start third. Fourth, going to go to Brian Bennett. Ross Booth will start fifth. Sixth, rounding out row 3 here, Sheldon Rosenbaum. Sean Reese going to start seventh. Eighth, going to go to Sheldon Wolosian. Dino Topic. Ninth, Matt Owens in 10th. Robert Sklenka in 11th. Tim McLeish going to start in 12th. Scott Corbin did not take a qualifying time, guys. He's going to start at the back of the field.
Sean, looks like Mercedes are the car of choice down there, huh?
Yes, Soup. A lot of Mercs out there. A lot of Mercs. Got an Audi. Let's see. Brian Bennett in the Audi.
What is nice. What is Shalenka driving? That's what's the other car? He's in a different car?
That is the Ferrari, the much unloved GT3 Ferrari, which has been off the pace in recent seasons, unfortunately. So Topich, I'm not sure if excuse me. I was thinking of Scott Corbin. Was getting a little direction from our director, and I'm confused drivers. Anyways, as the roof pace car has now taken off from the line, we'll lead them around for the pace lap. One thing I do want to note, there's a 24 incident limit, and drivers will be disqualified if they go over that, as they do in all 60-minute races here in the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sports Car Challenge. That includes off-track spins, contacts with other cars, or contacts with the wall. So they got to be clean. The usual question applies, though. We'll start with Bill. Who is your pick today?
Got to go with this new guy, Alex Ellis, just for the sake of having something different out there. We go down to the GTLMs. Oh, man, I hate to be boring, but the Mantra, he is just too hard. Let's go wire to wire for Jeffrey Ooms. Sean, who do you like in your class?
I'm going to go with Bradley Haley. Unless someone could convince me differently, I think he's the guy to beat today. I don't know, give Brian Bennett a chance. I don't want to count him out. A lot of great competitors here. Sheldon Rosenbaum could definitely make a run at it. I think Dino Topic has got more in his car. than his qualifying really led us to believe. So we'll see here, but it should be a lot of fun here in the GTDs today.
Now, normally I would say, yeah, let's go with the safe bets, but with this track and 3 classes, I kind of feel like all bets are off when it comes to who's going to be able to come away with the win. So much can go wrong in a short 60-minute sprint race for this series. Drivers will be hustling to try and get as much ground as they can. Coming through the corkscrew, there you can see our prototypes now, trying to weave through 2 wide. No easy task even at warm-up pace here.
And I'm going to agree with Joe. I'm keeping my hard-earned money in my pocket today. I'm not placing a bet at Mazda Raceway.
I think you put Mama Jean in a car, she could probably finish 5th with the attrition going out there, the way she drives this, take it around nice and easy. I think we're going to look at a lot of problems.
Well, nice and easy around the final corner for Alex Ellis one last time. That last hairpin, is he going to try and streak away? No, he's going to wait patiently, which is going to give an opportunity to Tinsey maybe. He accelerates away. Tinsey, a little bit sleeping on the job as a gap is stretched behind him. John Ulmer side by side with Simonic. They're now going to go single file, but Simonic is deep on the brakes down around the outside as plenty of the HPDs go 2 wide around the Andretti hairpin, but they're clean through. Let's go to the GTLMs.
Billy Smith tried to jump the start, tried to pull a fast one on Jeffrey Ooms. Then he had to check up, almost lost 2nd position. It's Ooms, Smith, Huff, Peterson, and Darling. Sean?
Yeah, and that checkup affected the start of the GTDs. They got stacked up, a bit of an accordion back there. Now Brad Haley's starting to pull away from Romagnolo, but it's coming slow. That stack up really hurt these guys at the back of the GTD field. Rosenbaum falling back, Matt Owens falling back, Sean Reese. All these guys got off the line really slow here.
This is one of the narrowest gaps between the classes that we've seen in a long time. I think they're all worried about the lap traffic coming around more early. The classes were very close together.
Indeed, that was very small. I was surprised to see when I handed it off that each of the classes already getting to the hairpin. In fact, we're finishing lap 1 already for the top of the classes. Ellis comes across the line. You're going to see him marked as 2nd, and that's because Mark Schindel seems to have had a problem and has taken a tow. Let's see if we can figure out. Oh, he had connection issues, so he elected to get out of the way so that he didn't trip anybody up, it looks like. So not worth going back to a replay for him. Relatively clean lap, though, Bill, for the first one.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem. I imagine we're going to be clean. Everyone should have familiar racing here until we get into traffic, and that's where things are going to be different.
So right on board with Alex Simonic, running 3rd currently, trying to see if he can hunt down Robert Tinsey. Great start for Simonic to get around John Older, who actually seems to be struggling a bit as he's being threatened by Cy Andre, his main rival this season.
Andre qualified 6th, has already made a spot up. He's got around Carter Kundinger.
Oh, problem with Schindel, guys.
Let's see if we can find out what happened with Mark.
Might have had a connection issue. He's in the pit.
Well, I know that they've got the table settings at the Amelia Earhart Bar and Grill, so there's lots of room for those guys to come and visit if they get kicked out.
And I believe Schindel was the one that I had called out early at the start. He's still having bad connection issues as we go to our GTDs. Looking at Romagnolo, who had a good introduction, his first race last round at Road Atlanta, and he's holding up that form. Still running in 2nd, although he's got a gap up to Haley at the moment. Doesn't quite have the pace for him in these early laps.
I like Romagnolo. He's going to be good, I think.
I think so too, Soup, but Scott McGarvey got good pace behind him right now. The Canadian able to hang. Haley up front, though, starting to pull away just a bit. Could be a threat to Dale Green up there ahead of him in probably maybe a couple laps here. Green has not shown the ability to be able to pull away from the GTDs.
So one of the worries when they started this season, the GTEs and GTDs relatively close on pace. Excuse me. As Fleming seems to be having a problem. Oh, and our leader, Alex Ellis, newcomer to the series, already having serious issues, and this is all by himself. Let's look at the replay coming out of turn 10, Bill.
Does a good job of catching it, though. He's going to lose a ton of spots, didn't hit anything, and I don't think he took the car over anything that would damage it.
And Ulmer's pitting for something. I'm not sure. Let's see. And Ulmer actually just ran through the pits by himself. I'm not seeing him take a stop. Interesting. Not sure why he did a drive-through. He wasn't really forced into there. There was nobody beside him, so we'll have to do some investigation.
Yeah.
That sends him all the way to the back. Alex Ellis has managed to hold on to at least ninth.
Patrick Fleming had a big problem, guys, too. He spun it a couple of times. Once down in turn 6, and then at the top of the hill getting down to the corkscrew.
Yeah, unfortunately, that puts Fleming in the thick of the GTD cars. Oh, and DePratt in the middle of the corkscrew. Thankfully, it doesn't look like anybody hit him.
Right in front of Daniel Gralty. In fact, Gralty gets around, as does, then it's Wilson. Losing a spot was Sockrider, loses a spot to Ellis.
That looked like may have been a little bit of net code as Gralty was close behind him when he got turned like that.
Well, trouble early for a lot of drivers here.
Thankfully, everybody else still seems to be going except for Mark Schindel, who I think has disconnected. Meanwhile, GTLM P2 up for grabs, side-by-side action between Billy Smith and Ryan Huff. They're being watched by Paul Darling behind them, trying to come back into this.
Darling is the hard charger out of all those guys, but right now in the preferred position on the inside, that is Huff.
Has Huff got it done? No, doesn't carry the speed off the corner. Going to go into turn 3. And it's hard to go around the outside of that one, as he just learned, because Billy Smith slots back in front of him into P2.
Billy Smith gridded in second. Holmes has run away from him. But right now, Huff is trying to make it up. Darling is the guy who's on the move. He's already got around Leif Peterson up one spot. Peterson back there racing 5th in class.
Guys, I am hearing Ulmer, that was in fact a drive-through penalty carried over from the last race.
Obviously, Ulmer involved in a couple incidents at Road Atlanta, so even the big cheese is not immune to a few penalties. Oh, apparently it's from Road America we're hearing. Is that correct? Oh, no, Road Atlanta is where they were last round. Sorry.
We'll blame that one on the director there. The director actually corrected Joe Peak. Joe was right, please.
Oh, guys, we continue to watch this 4-car battle. Did you see something else out there, Sean?
Well, that Patrick Fleming picked up, got one of his spots back by getting by Sheldon Malosian. Now he's got Sean Reese and Matt Owens right in front of him. It's out of class, but he's having to work his way after that trouble he had. He's having to work his way back through this traffic, and Reese and Owens are racing pretty hard against each other right now.
And as we look at that, we don't need to go there. I can just report that Tinsley's already now starting to do what he does. Bob the Blade doing his thing, going through traffic.
Let's go on board our leader. Has not been the season that Tinsley has wanted, but this could be a good recovery for him.
He just got around Tim McLeish, got some clear air in front of him. Now racing in second is Simonik. Remember, because of Ellis having trouble and Ulmer having trouble, that moves Simonik up into second spot. Andra is in third. Don't forget about Cy.
Cy's been a hard charger since he joined the series. This is his rookie season. And how about Tinsley? If this brings him back into the fray, we've basically got Tinsley, Andra, and wow, he really slices through and goes off track coming through turn 6. In fact, that's going to give some time away to second place Alex Simonik, who catches up by a number of seconds. You can now see both of them with no cars between them. He's going to get caught up a little bit with Patrick Fleming, who gives him room around the outside. Here comes the car of Alex Simonik right up to him now. Is only 3/10 between our leaders in the HPDs.
Traffic is Simonik's friend. It's hard to think that you have any chance of catching Tinsley in traffic, but that really helped Alex come right up on the back of Tinsley now.
It has not been the friend of Cy Andra, who's now 4 seconds back. He had the thick of it coming through 10 and 11. But as I was saying before the action started to happen, is if Tinsey can bring himself back into the points, we've got 3 drivers potentially competing for the championship, and we are just about at the halfway point. Next round will be exactly smack dab in the middle of the season.
Well, Tinsey catching up on the back end of the GTD class here. Will beat Sklenka here pretty quickly.
It's going to get him on the Ray Hall straight, the run up to the corkscrew, both of them sneaking by. That's actually Sheldon Rosenbaum that they went past. Next going to be Ross Booth. They're now right in the middle of the pack of the GTDs, and then not going to get much of a break before they run into the GTEs as well. Only 5 seconds between Bradley Haley and Samuel Scott, who brings up the tail end of the GTEs, barring Patrick Fleming, who's still coming back through that GTD field. How about Alex Ellis on his recovery drive? He's gone from 9th when he turned the car back around to 6th, and he's already looking at Daniel Gralty. Not going to make an attempt into the Andretti hairpin as we now ride on board with newcomer Ellis.
Yeah, Ellis was able to steal a couple spots when Duprat had that spin in the corkscrew. He said, thank you very much. He kept the foot down on the throttle, snaked a couple guys there, and now he's coming up on the back of Gralty. Gralty's pretty quick. Although not a really great qualifying day for Daniel. He qualified 9th. Usually he's a little bit higher up than that. We've seen him race with the big boys. But Ellis, you know, he still has visions of winning this thing.
He's got 49 minutes to do it, and he's about 10 seconds behind our leader. So, yeah, I agree with you. It's not impossible. And Ulmer's in again. Another drive-through?
Maybe he's serving a penalty for the future, you know, in case he gets into a problem.
He stopped momentarily. I'm looking to see how long it lasted.
Boy, hey,
how does that compare, Bill?
Well, it's 10 seconds. I guess that would be a normal. Oh, wait, let's go to Dino Topic. My goodness. And Robert Salenka. This is fairly recent, I think.
It is, Soup. It just happened. Oh, no.
Poor Dino has spun the car. He's off minding his own business in the sand like David Hasselhoff, and then all of a sudden, he's just plastered by... Stay on this.
Well, okay, so it's Sklenka coming down through turn 6. He gets loose and gets off. Oh, jeez.
Wow, what horrible timing. Because he was turning around, too. If he would have stayed where he was, he would have been perfectly safe. My goodness.
That's a day of the beach gone bad, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's standing in a field next to the one tree, and the tree falls on you, I think.
Wow.
Oh, boy. So both of them in the pits from that incident. Surprisingly few that we've seen have been multi-car. Most every incident that we've been watching have been drivers spinning themselves out or hitting the wall on their own merit. Jeffrey Ooms not having any such problems up at the top of the GTLMs for that right now. And in fact, looking at the gap he's got, am I seeing about 12 seconds between himself and Billy Smith?
Yeah, that's the kind of race. Go ahead, Sean.
Just big stack up there down to the Andretti hairpin. Ellis and Gralty side by side as they got by Giuliano Romagnolo. Boy, that was close.
Let's get that replay and take a look at that action, Bill.
And Ellis makes the pass, and now he leaves Gralty behind. Look at this.
3 wide into the hairpin, and everybody comes out safe. And Ellis gets the spot on top of it. Nice move.
You can't get it all back in one lap, but somebody tell that to Alex Ellis. He is flying as he works his way around Bradley Haley. Haley just basically almost parks the car to let the prototypes go by.
Ellis will need to remember with all the traffic that he is not an island out there. He's got to make sure that he deals with everybody nice and safe. So thus far, he's been pretty good with it. It's going to get a lot harder, though, with the next cars up. 4 of them up to the lead. Kundinger next on his list.
the point I was trying to make when we talked about Jeffrey Ohms and that big gap that he has, that's what Ellis is thinking about. He's used to probably running away from the field. A large deficit is not a big deal to him. Of course, he's never had to run down Robert Tinsley before. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just going to say, you talked about a moment ago about Bradley Haley just kind of letting him get by. You know what? He's made a habit of that early on in this race, letting the traffic just go by. He sees the kind of time he's put between himself and second place. No reason for him to continue to fight faster cars. Taking care of it, finishing this race in first, and the only thing Bradley Haley worried about right now.
I think he mentioned that in one of our interviews, post-race interviews, where he says, I go out, give myself a big lead. That gives him a cushion to deal with traffic a little easier.
What if we could jump to another GTLM battle? Ryan Huff is still on the back of Paul Darling and really putting the pressure on. They've got our leader, Tinsley, coming up behind them now, so he might split them for just a corner.
Gonna correct you on that one. Darling was chasing Huff. He finally got the pass made. So now Darling is up into third in class.
So
when we last checked on it, it was Billy Smith that was holding everybody back. It was Billy Smith and Huff was trying to get around Smith and his Ford, but the Ford now has fallen back. Darling is up to third, trying to run down Billy Smith now and Ohms, who is long gone.
Well, I'm not sure if it's the battle with Huff or traffic that has really caused them to lose ground, but the gap between Smith and Darling is about 12. Oh wait, no, that's 2 seconds. It's Smith that I'm looking at.
No, Billy Smith drove away. He was real close. He must have had a slowdown penalty or something, or just lost his rhythm. Let those guys get on him. Once they started battling, he said enough of this, and he has been pretty quick. Second, he's best of the rest. Nobody's touching Jeffrey Ohms right now.
I seem to recall from the rest of the season too, this seems to be the MO of Paul Darling, just not qualifying well, and then slowly but surely kind of creeps his way through the order.
He says he doesn't have time to put in the practice time. He does his practicing the first half of the race.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and Jimbo Pfeiffer also in the GTLM class coming into the corkscrew. Looks like he's had some problems.
Yeah, but you know what? He locks it up, and it does avoid getting hit. It's probably more important than anything. Going to lose some time, but he's not going to lose the car. Really fortunate. He had a lot of traffic on its way behind him there.
Happened right in front of Alex Ellis.
Just about to say, he had a lucky escape. So that's got to be extra scary coming up with the corkscrew, Bill, and you see a puff of smoke and not necessarily know what's over the crust.
Yeah, I just pointed where the car's supposed to go and hope the smoke and the car drift out of the way.
Meanwhile, in seventh, Mark Wilson having to fend off David Sockrider. They're dealing with the traffic of Samuel Scott and the Ferrari. GTLM car stays conveniently off to the right as they come over the not quite straight front straight. A little wide through the Andretti hairpin from Mark Wilson. That's going to give up a little bit of time to Sockrider. And they've actually hit the backstretch. Pardon me, I was a little bit off time there. They're now going to be lapping the car of Jimbo Pfeiffer, who unfortunately is at the wrong place in the wrong time for Sockrider.
And just to follow up on John Olmer, we don't need to go there. I'm not quite sure what's going on with him. He took that second stop. I don't even think the second stop was in the window. So, Big Cheese, probably not a race he's going to count for his standings.
Well, how many of his drop races has he used up so far? Because he's had a few bad ones.
He's had a couple ugly ones, yeah, but I think this one could surpass, as far as ugliness goes, all of them.
Hey guys, the battle here in the GTD class for second place continues to rage on. McGarvey continues to inspect the wing angle of Giuliano Romagnolo there and making it very, very close. You know what? So much trash being spit out from underneath these cars. You start to get the feeling they're driving on an old Caliche road out here, Soup.
It's okay, I'll buy that. That's a good one.
Well, and you know, this is one thing that I love about iRacing, actually, Bill, is that they, from what I gather, they tend to try and actually take into account typical conditions for a track, and Laguna Seca is known for being dusty.
It's a wonderful place to live, but yeah, I mean, if you drew your conclusions about California based on the tracks here on iRacing, you would never come here. Between this and Sonoma, You wouldn't think that we have any trees anywhere. I mean,
The whole state's desert, isn't it?
yeah, that's actually
Pail and shovel, yeah.
pretty much is. We just steal Oregon's water. That's our plan.
Well, watching this battle, it is not ending anytime soon, and Roman Yellow looks a little unsteady on the brakes coming over the crest into the corkscrew, but now they plunge back down the hill. Ooh, and a great run until he gets balked at the apex for Scott McGarvey and can't do anything with his speed.
Hey, don't mess with a guy driving the Kraken, okay? I'm just saying.
Back onto the front stretch they go one more time. Is he close enough to do anything with it? We might need to jump up to the battle for fourth soon. Actually, now we need to go to it because Ellis has a fantastic run, but he's not brave enough to stick it in, or is he? Side by side into the corkscrew. Not often you see this. They stay out of each other, still side by side. Now they come down rainy curve. He can't hold on around the outside of there. Too dusty, too dirty with marbles, and he has to finally give it up. Carter Kundinger gonna make him work for it.
I didn't think that was possible.
Great driving front by both of them. Hard fought.
Let's stay on this because I think Ellis doesn't look like he has the run to get him down into the Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, it'll take a wild dive to get in there, but he's very late on the brakes. He locks him up, trying to stay out of the rear wing of Carter Kundinger. My goodness, dial the brake bias back a little there.
Carter, if you can hear me, this might be one of the times you just might want to wave a guy by. I'm just saying. Because he's coming through.
But sometimes I'd say you need to fight for whatever you can. You don't know if Ellis will make another mistake.
Oh, I think there's a good chance he'll make a mistake. Don't want to be, just don't want to be included into it.
I see what your theory is. They're going to go by Woloshin. Oh, but Woloshin comes back to the racing line very late.
Oh, no!
Oh, and he spins right in front of him, is avoided narrowly by Ellis. Let's watch that from above. I don't know if we could zoom in and maybe slow it down a little bit here to watch this. Surprised he came back to the line, and even more surprised that the rear of that Mercedes suddenly loops around. Whew, that was so close.
Alex Ellis has to be part feline. My goodness. How many lives does that guy have?
Dino Topic around again, guys. More trouble for Topic.
Just has not been Topic's season. He's had a few good results, but once again he finds himself either problems from others coming in his way or just errors on his own racing. This was coming out of rainy curve. I think looks like he actually hit the inside curb at the apex a little bit too hard, and that's what sent him around. So we watch him live now coming up the front stretch.
It's got to be a win for him, though. At least he wasn't hit while he was in the sand again. So all things considered, he's got to say that probably went okay.
Yeah, there's some places you can get away with that at Laguna Seca, and others you cannot.
Better go to Kundinger here because Ellis has got his wits about him now and is back up on his tail.
They're going to have Robert Sklenka coming up quick on the front stretch. I don't think they're going to quite catch him before Andretti. Question is, can he be used as a pick? When is Kundinger going to have to try and slip by? Down into Andretti once again, another puff of smoke out of Alex's left front. Oh, and there he's held up. They're going to split him on either side. Down to the inside of turn 3 he goes, but can he carry the speed? Big bobble coming out of Carter Kundinger. Keeps it out of the side of Alex Ellis. Still side by side, banging doors through turn 4. Nobody's willing to give up. Carter Kundinger is not going to give this away willingly, and Alex Ellis is not willing to let go. Still side by side. Are they going to go too wide through turn 6? Boys, this is not going to go well, and finally, Kundinger backs out of it. Oh my goodness.
Poor Sklenka. See, I'm still worried about that poor chap back there.
And look at this just behind them. You see the orange and white car of Daniel Gralti. All that did was help him catch up, but well, already their pace is allowing them to pull away, so that was short-lived. Either way, kudos to both HPD drivers. That was some phenomenal stuff.
Maybe we can go check in on Billy Smith. He's beginning to be run down by Paul Darling a little bit. Just give you an interval so you can mark it on your clipboards, boys and girls. Cy Andra, about 5 seconds back to Alex Ellis. So mark the time, 36 minutes of racing left. We'll see if he can run it down. Meanwhile, Smith, little by little, it's 1 second now. Darling's beginning to come. Darling has left, Ryan Huff behind.
Also getting some pit stops. We're almost at the halfway mark. Sockrider and Pfeiffer both in.
Yeah, Pfeiffer just now back out on track. I'm serious. I think somebody needs to go back and check on Robert Sklenka and see if maybe when he pits, he might need a change of driver's suit there. Hey, listen, I know how he feels. I've been in that position recently.
Well, and you know, he needs some big credit for that moment because he could have panicked and he didn't. He just held his line straight where he was and let both cars go. So that Ferrari came out unscathed thanks to his cool head.
Oh, turn 11, big trouble. Patrick Fleming smokes him right behind. Who was he? He was trying to get by Romagnolo right there. Oh, and gets.
It was Gralti. We're going to see this at the end of the replay.
Didn't end well, did it, Joe?
Well, it ended better than it could have. Yeah, locks him up on his own, trying to stay out of the back of that car you saw. Now, if we can stay on this for a while, everybody's trying to safely go through. He wisely backs up, but not quite enough, because here he comes back onto the course.
Yeah, he was doing great. The car was in a horrible position. He was backing it off the track, and then he decided to bring it back on the track, right in front of Gralti.
Yeah, it's cost Gralti a lot of time right there, actually.
Did Sockrider have an issue? He's still in his pit. I'm going to go investigate this real quick. That's a long time for a regular pit stop here in the AMGSC. So I suspect he might have hit something along the way and gained some damage. I'm not seeing anything in that immediate lap. Very unusual circumstances for David. Sad to see. Wasn't having too bad of a race up to that point.
Our timing and scoring pit column is beginning to sprinkle with a little bit of drivers coming in here or there.
Yes, I'm starting to see some orange and starting to see some ones pop up my screen there. Soup.
We've been fooled before when we've had these 60-minute races and it's come down to fuel. I would think Laguna Seca probably not a thirsty track. They should not have to worry about it.
There's very few parts where you're flat out through here in all the cars. So we switched to Ross Booth down in the GTDs. Haven't shown him a whole lot of love, but he's trying to fend off Sheldon Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum on one of the best seasons of his career here in the AMGSC. Let's see if he can get another top 5, maybe even a potential podium. Up at the front, what was that mark for Alex Ellis and Cy Andra before, Bill?
Let's check in. Oh my God. Well, it wasn't 1.3. Boys and girls, what did I say? 5 seconds, I believe it was, when I told you that? That was, what, about 4 minutes ago? Well, here he comes.
Well, and Andra is no slouch either. No. My goodness. Alex Ellis is apparently a talent that we have missed. Yeah. Now,
not only a talent, a exciting talent.
That is true, and you can see that the traffic is certainly not helping out Cy Andra as he works his way past the car of Dino Topic, who's back out and running. Used his spare car, which I believe, did we mention that yet, Bill? The spare cars?
One fast repair, one pit stop today with an incident cap, and I believe you just want to time it, get that fast repair in your pit window.
Ooh, way wide there for Cy Andra. Coming out of turn 6 is going to allow Alex Ellis to continue to reel him in. And it may be a dry lake bed out here, but Alex Ellis is going fishing.
Ellis reminds me of a talented juggler. You know, you can see jugglers, and if they juggle, I'd rather see a guy juggle with, you know, they may juggle with 5 beanbags, but if they can juggle with 4 sharp knives, that's more exciting. That's what Ellis is. He's a juggler with sharp knives.
Guys, Dino Topic just went for a wild ride right in front of Bradley Haley as they were getting through turn 10.
And there's the pass. Ellis gets down on the inside of Andra.
Moves Ellis up onto the podium now. Don't have to really go back to Topic, just coming off of Rainey. Looks like the same corner that he lost it in earlier we saw. So went a little wide and had to try and collect it together. He continues on.
Okay, kids, I got to do it to you again. 15 seconds now from Simonik back to Alex Ellis.
Darling, in the meantime, has also got himself in contention for second, as Billy Smith is now squarely in his windshield.
I'm not sure if Omai is going to make this move before the pit stops. I think he's going to wait to see how this plays out.
How hard will Billy Smith defend? He's got a win in the GTLMs this season. I'm sure he's going to want to get some consistent results to see if maybe he can contend for the championship. Not really high up there in the points at the moment. Meanwhile, our leader in the prototypes, Robert Tinsey, comes in at exactly the halfway mark.
There you go.
Simonik follows him in. So that's our top two. That's going to hand the lead back to Ellis, who has yet to pit. Both drivers now out and on their way. Now, we haven't talked about this yet, Bill. The pit exit. The dreaded pit exit at Laguna Seca.
I love the pit exit here from a fan's perspective. It is really, you can see it right there. Seems like you never actually get back out on the track. It's takes you through. You have to do a little, it's like you're playing Pokemon Live. You have to go over and pick up a Pokemon before they let you back out. But you get out there.
Guys, Sheldon Rosenbaum, the first of the GTDs to come in. He's down the lane. He's at his stop now.
And this is unusual here, Sean, for the GTDs. Most of these guys tend to run long strategies.
Mm-hmm. Sheldon going to be the first one in here, it looks like.
Wonder if he's thinking clear track, potentially. Maybe get away from whatever battles he thinks might erupt. And Ellis is in. Kundinger stays out, however. He's going to get a lap led. I don't believe they have bonus points for that, however.
Just for pole.
And I believe they give one for a clean race, if I'm remembering correctly. 0x nets you one bonus point.
Let's go to John Ulmer real quick. He has just worked his way around Paul Darling. He's kind of put himself between Darling and Smith right now. Ulmer has worked his way up to, where would he be, about 7th?
8th, I'm seeing right now.
Okay.
Going to be able to easily get by Billy Smith, but it puts him on the wrong line down into turn 10. And look at this. Paul Darling now closing up behind him on the brakes, reels him in down into the hairpin. Not sure that he got a good enough run coming onto the front stretch to be able to make an attack into Andretti. Down they go, wowing it up into the corner. This is a fight for P2 in the GTLMs, Bill. I think Darling is starting to threaten.
Boy, a couple guys we have watched race for a long time.
A number of seasons here.
Darling also races over in the Championship Motorsports League.
Pretty dominant there as well, we should say. This is certainly not a case of a small fish in a small pond. This is, in every case we've seen Darling, he is just simply a big fish.
Pelosian is in, guys. Another GTD down. Pelosian into his box already.
So seeing a number of GTD cars taking an abnormal strategy for them. They definitely shouldn't have issues in terms of fuel. So we continue to watch this fight for second and that GTLM class.
And again, I've done enough of these races. I know Paul Darling. I just don't see him making a move until the pit stops are done.
He drops back a little bit this lap, not quite as fast as he would have liked. Have to give a little bit of credit to Billy Smith having been able to fend him off this long. Ooh, a little wide there, off into the dirt for Paul Darling. Easy to do in turn 4. Now, I'm taking a look. Carter Kundinger has been overtaken by Cy Andra. Am I seeing that correctly? Or is that Cy Andra falling back into... This was a pass. Were they in other positions before the pit stops?
Well, yeah, because it was...
Kundinger, actually, I'm not sure if we saw... Yeah, exactly.
Bit of a mistake there out of Kundinger.
Not sure if we saw it on the replay, but it was into turn 5. The rear nearly whipped around on him.
He locked him up for sure, but he hangs on to it. It does open the door, though.
That was a great move from Ellis once again around the outside of 6. Just those knives are sharp, Bill.
Yeah. Well, remember, Andra and Kundinger, both of these guys fell to Ellis as Ellis went through. Ellis first got Andra and then Kundinger. Oh, and my.
Kundinger gets it right back.
Man.
Because of lap traffic, he gets the inside of turn 5, almost squeezes Cy Andra off the course.
Now they got Bradley Haley. That's the leader in the GTDs.
Bradley's fine. He's like, go.
Bradley's a cool customer, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Down the rainy curve they go. Cy Andra trying to chase back Carter Kundinger to get that spot that he thought he had finally gotten away from him. Let's watch that pass one more time where Kundinger gets it back. Almost exactly where he lost it before. There you see that GTD car was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And advantageous stuff from the AOD Racing HPD. We come back live. That puts Carter back into 4th. Cy Andra, who came in making his splash, struggling here today.
Yeah, Smith has come in. That's going to surrender the spot to Darling. Now, that's pretty smart too. I think Darling knows he was faster. If he can run one more lap, maybe he can pass Smith this way. Guys, I hate to give you the timing and scoring. Get out your clipboards, boys and girls. It's 11 seconds now from Simonic back to Alex Ellis. Remember, it was 15 when I talked about it before the stops.
Here's the interesting thing, too. I noticed before the stops that Ellis was about 17 seconds back from our leader, Tinsey. Well, it's down to 15. He actually is faster than our leader. Granted, he was about 10 seconds back very early in the race, but I want to say most of that probably went to the battle that he had with Kundinger and Andra.
Well, he out-qualified Tinsey by about 0.2 of a second, so I like this guy, Alex Ellis.
Tinsey back in familiar territory, leading the race with nobody around. Simonic's been holding him honest, but not enough to really put the pressure on. He's about 4 seconds back. Still, I feel like this is an increase in pace from Simonic. Usually he's much farther behind the leaders.
Oh, let's go to Kundinger real quick. Oh my goodness, they just ran up on the back. I'm sorry, ran up on the back to Selenka. I really thought that Andra was going to get in the back of Kundinger. They work it out. That battle continues to go rage on.
Why do they keep picking on Robert Selenka?
I know, I agree.
We barely caught a flash of it. They scared him off track in 6. He went way wide.
Let's stay on it with a minute because now they're working through. Oh!
That was Mark Katrowski, and it looks like Andra nearly gets in the back. Oh, he goes off track, trying to hold it together. Gets it back collected somehow. Cy Andra having to saw at the wheel like a lumberjack.
Sam Scott decided to take his pit stop right there. You can see him just going in. Smart move, Sam.
Like, I don't want any part of this.
Meanwhile, Ooms has completed his scheduled pit stop. Into 6 as Omer and Gralty go at it. Coming through the Andretti hairpin, Omer on his recovery drive after a number of runs through the pit lane. Thought that he made short work of Gralty, which might happen here. He gets a great run out of 4. looks to the inside down into 5. Gralty does not defend, lets him through, and that's going to move Ulmer into 6th.
Bad news for all you big cheeseheads out there is that I think Ulmer might have another stop to make.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right on that one.
Guys, Brian Bennett in the GTD, he decided to finally come in. Roman Yolo will take over second spot if he doesn't go in. He didn't go in that time. Yolo's actually already been in for his stop, so he gets that spot back.
Driver, we're waiting on
two cars. Pit. Yeah, 2 cars that have yet to pit are Haley and then Paul Darling, who's still out there.
Not used to seeing the GTLMs go this long. Darling is leading, but again, he will make his stop, and Grooms should be able to get back by. The question is Billy Smith going to be able to get by?
Billy Smith right now being passed by Kundinger in the prototypes.
Let's watch here to see if he goes in, and he does. All right. Here's the action we've been waiting for. Darling weaving his way through that pit entry can be a danger in itself. He gets through safely, looks for his pit stall. TNT racing machine now slides on in. Hits it nice and squarely.
Smith went wide through 6. Now he goes down through the corkscrew.
Darling's still stationary. Ooms has gone past, regained the lead, and now Darling is going. Where's Billy Smith? He's coming through the final corner. This is going to be incredibly close. Darling coming up to the line and hits the cones now. Now he can accelerate away. Billy Smith has got full momentum up and over the crest of turn 1.
We talked about pit exit. You're going to see it here, how cool it is. Here comes Billy Smith. I don't know if he's going to... Oh, he's going to come out in a hornet's nest.
3 wide on exit. He probably wasn't even aware of that. Syondra goes off as actually cars make contact ahead of him. Still somehow Paul Darling is safe, or is he? He tries to go to the inside of Giuliano Romagnolo and still gets through safe.
The last car in line is Billy Smith.
Meanwhile, Syondra finally comes back through. Boy, you talked about, I can't remember which driver it was, having 9 lives. I think there were guardian angels on the car of Paul Darling. Comes out from the pits in a 3-wide situation, managed to avoid cars hitting each other in front of him, and then gets 2 wide through turn 4. I don't know how you get all of that in a matter of 20 seconds and survive.
And he is gone, and poor Billy Smith was only a couple seconds behind, but it was a couple seconds that had 6 cars in it.
Guys, and Romagnolo was in there just trying to hang on to his podium finish here and keep the car clean amongst all that craziness. In the meantime, Bradley Haley came in and finally took a stop. Just got back out on track, but still 18 seconds ahead of Romagnolo, who's chasing him.
Haley's done this a few times this season, just putting on a clinic on the other drivers and running his own race, looking almost Tinsey-like, except in the GTD class. So with that, all of our drivers have now finally pitted. Let's run it down the order, starting with the prototypes. Robert Tinsey is leading, even though he started in second, took advantage of the problems that Alex Ellis experienced. Alex Simonik behind him has been keeping him honest. He's cut it down to 1.7 seconds. He's still eyeing his first win. It could come today if trouble befalls Tinsey. Alex Ellis, after falling to 9th in the early stages, has recovered to a 3rd. He could have had more. This is the 2nd time we've seen a win slip through his fingers. Carter Kundinger rounds out the top 4. He's had a lot of action out there today. It might not be over. Syondra has fallen back off of him. He rounds out our top 5 in the prototypes. Let's go to Bill.
Jeffrey, the mantra ooms out in front by a comfortable 21 seconds. Now, Paul Darling has made his way into 2nd, and the weeds are cleared between him and Billy Smith. Billy Smith, there's just 1 car between them right now. They have to negotiate Matt Owens, but Darling has about a 1.5 second lead over Smith. What's interesting is we go all the way back to the battle for 4th. This is Huff in the Ford. He's got not too far back is Leif Peterson. That difference is only just over a second, so we'll keep an idea on Huff trying to hold on to fourth position. Sean, what do you got?
Soup, this is what I got. It got Bradley Haley still in the lead here back in the GTD class. Giuliano Romagnolo doing all he can right now to work with this traffic and just stay in this podium position he's got there in second. And then we go back to Scott McGarvey chasing Romagnolo. And that might be a good battle right down to the end, buddy. And we'll see what he can do. Brian Bennett.
Let's go to, sorry to interrupt, let's go to Leif Peterson. You know, I was talking about him running down Ryan Huff. Well, he had Sheldon Woloshin between him and Huff, and we got into the back of Woloshin, and then the car turned on him. That's the last car in line is Peterson.
And what we didn't see in this replay, actually, is Woloshin actually had Ryan Huff try to go to the inside of him in turn 6. That's why he was unexpectedly slow. Here we go. We're going to watch the replay. Had to let him through. That put him in a bad position. So poor Woloshin was just a pinball.
That's some smart racecraft there from Ryan Huff, not only making the pass, but slowing the guy down a bit so that your competitor runs into the back of him.
Two different classes, so they weren't actually...
No, Huff and wasn't, you said that was Huff, right?
Were they in the same class, actually?
Yeah, it's Ryan Huff was being chased by Leif Peterson. That's who Peterson was after.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant Huff using that on Woloshin.
Yeah,
anyways.
No. Huff makes the pass on Woloshin and slows Woloshin down. Pretty sneaky.
Not sure if that's exactly what he meant, but anyways.
That's it.
Bill's sticking to his story. Meanwhile, Sheldon Rosenbaum is who we're watching.
Yeah.
Who is still running in 5th in his class.
Well, actually, we're back to there we go. There's
Romagnolo.
Romagnolo. Yeah. Well, Romagnolo's right now still defending against Scott McGarvey. McGarvey has continued this for pretty much the whole race. When he gets back to him, it's a thing to watch. It's quite a battle. When he loses him, it takes a while. Romagnolo with a big mistake right there.
And look at this, though. Here comes the car of Lionel Duprat, who's going to interrupt. Oh, and they're also trying to get past lap traffic. Oh, and meanwhile, Robert Tinsley is stopped with multiple cars around him. Did he make contact? That's Brian Bennett.
He did. He did.
Oh, Bennett got loose loose as he's going around. They make contact.
Gonna happen out of turn 10, guys.
Oh, and then it is, to make matters worse, stay on it. The big cheese T-bones him. Stay on it. Stay on it.
Oh.
Yeah. And that really, I can't put too much blame on Tinsley. Usually we tell you to lock the brakes, but it looks like his car, when he locked him up, just swung back on track without his help. We're going to go and watch Tinsley's, we're going to watch above for Tinsley here. Kind of an innocent victim.
I thought so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The car was on the dirt there. I don't think he could keep that car from, it just rolls back. He's got it locked up.
Not only that, but the car is spinning into him to kick it all off.
And poor Ulmer. Ulmer was doing such a good job, too, coming through the field, and that's, he finds...
This is such a bizarre season for Tinsley and Ulmer. It's like they can't stay out of their own way.
Even when they're a lap down, they find each other.
Well, I said Simonic was looking for his first win. And I said it could be if trouble befalls Tinsley. Commentators' curse seems to be not good for Tinsley today, but great for Simonic. He has a 10-second lead. The question is he fast enough with 12 minutes to hold off a charging Alex Ellis?
Yeah, I think Magic Alex Ellis is out of pixie dust there. I don't think there's much left. I think that's second.
I don't know. Ellis he's already got it down to 9 seconds.
He sure does. Simonic in traffic right now.
I mean, looking at Ellis's lap times, 13.7, 13.5, 13.2, 14.1. That was the slowest one, probably traffic. And
down to 8, 8.5, 8.3.
Oh my goodness.
8.2, 8.1, 7.9. Are they in the same class?
There's traffic right now in front of Simonic who we're riding on board with. Now he's going to be able to sneak by Ryan Huff. And then this might swing it back in his favor because, let's see, where is Ellis? Ellis is now coming up on a little bit of traffic himself. He's got a lot of cars between them.
Well, it's under 7 seconds. When we first started talking about it, it was over 10.
Does Simonic have damage, maybe? This is unusual. He's clear of the traffic now, and it's still going down.
Yeah.
Or did Simonic short fuel?
Maybe that's what I was thinking. Fuel. I'm going to look at this.
Yeah, it's not damage, Joe. I think you're onto something there with the short fuel.
I feel like Simonic has just got to be cursing himself inside that cockpit. It falls in his lap, and a strategic error could cost him the win. Well, it's jumped back up to 7 now.
Good news is he only has 10 minutes to stay out in front. Boy, a 7-second lead with 10 minutes to race. You got to feel good about that.
You would normally, yes, but the way we've seen it jump down, I have no idea what to expect out of this one. Oh, and especially when you see things like that with Alex Ellis trying to go around the wide side of Brian Huff coming out of Rainy Curve. And I think he may have made contact there. Watch on board. I think we're going to go on board Ellis here. Oh, a heart attack and a can here. Sees the car ahead. Have to make a decision early. Thinks to go left, but that is just no space left. That jumps it up back to 8.5 seconds. Has Simonic maybe potentially picked it up, thinking it's all or nothing now? Fuel be damned.
Fuel be damned. I'm going to roll with that.
Let's go to that battle with Darling right now. This is Billy Smith trying to run him down. He is closing on him. He gets around Robert's link. Boy, hi, Robert.
I wonder if we could go a little farther back. We got a good battle mid-pack between Woloshin and Matt Owens. And it looks like that one is done. Coming through turn 5, Matt with a nice move down the inside there.
A couple of Canadians going door handle, having a good battle back there with Woloshin, but these two still going at it here in the closing laps of the race.
We had an off from Kundinger. I don't know if it's worth going to. He just spun himself. So we'll stick with what we're watching here with this battle for second and the GTDs. Again, a reminder, this is Romagnolo's second race in the series, not just a rookie season, but he came in late and challenging one of the established guys. Garvey just can't seem to find a way around. We said it at the top of the broadcast. This is a tough track to pass on.
Well, and these two are going to be very, very familiar with each other by the time this race is over. They really have spent the greater part of most of this race together on track.
Joining at the hip.
That is the best battle right now, as Smith and Darling have separated a bit.
So let's continue to watch this much tighter through the corkscrew for Scott McGarvey, putting him at a good position coming out of Rainy Curve, right under that rear spoiler. If he can set himself up at a turn 10, let's see if he can get it done. Is Romagnolo going to stay defensive? Yes, he does. Just about the middle of the track, he gets punted as Scott McGarvey center punches him. Both continue on. McGarvey stays behind. How much damage is on each car, though? Sean, that was a thwack.
Yeah, it was, Joe. And surveying the damage, it looks like the right front there from McGarvey, just a little bit. I don't think it was quite as hard a hit as we thought there initially. Seeing just very, very little damage on the right rear of the Kraken there. But I think both of those are going to survive that. Scott still looking for opportunity here.
I'm sure Scott will want to help his championship hopes. Remember, Giuliano, having missed so many, has nothing to race for here but just getting wins and good results, whereas Scott McGarvey has to think long-term. But he's got to get every position he can at the same time. That corkscrew yet again, and yet again, it was Scott McGarvey a lot closer to the apexes.
Yeah, Romagnolo just seems to keep doing enough, Joe. Just enough to stay ahead. Got awful fortunate right there when he took that hit to the rear bumper. Lucky to save onto the car. Now they've got a little traffic here with Robert Tinsey coming through. Tinsey catching him in a great spot, though. Down in turn 11 up the front straight here.
A great spot for Scott, but not necessarily a good spot here for Romagnolo. Oh, he's going to be able to get the normal racing line. Just squeaks through.
Yeah.
And Tinsey is on his own recovery. He's in third, but he's slower than Ellis.
Under 5 seconds now between Simonic and Ellis.
Getting ever smaller. You have to wonder.
Oh my God, now it's going to be under 4 seconds here.
This is going to be so tense. Come to the line. I wonder if this will come down to the final lap. Simonic dealing with traffic. Looking to the inside of the car of Miguel Meyer and disposes of him quickly.
3.8. 3.7. Look at that yellow number, green number between them.
Dare I say a lead has never been so safe? Should I say that about anybody? I shouldn't, should I? That's really just...
I don't think we can say anything about leads here.
Okay, I won't say it.
Jeffrey Ooms is happy 22 seconds out in front.
I was looking at Bradley Haley and just where he is on track right now. He's no threat from behind. He's really got nothing in front of him to worry about. And he could probably get out and push right about now and he'd be safe.
Ellis got to slow down. Ellis was too short through the corkscrew, and he's got to avoid mistakes like that because that cost him 2 whole seconds. Watching it from above, you're going to see the second apex here, Bill. Too greedy.
Yeah, you know what? I've been watching him too. This is not unusual. I've seen him do this before. He just took a little too big of a bite that time.
Ellis experiencing what Cy Andra did a few races ago as he came into this series. Now Alex Ellis finding out you can be fast, but it's not just speed that matters in the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sports Car Challenge. You have to have the whole package.
Assuming Alex Simonic has enough fuel, he's going to be our first Alex across.
Oh, and Sean Reese has a big spin coming into turn 5, just behind Ellis. Ellis probably thankful the car went off the track and not into him.
Yeah, fortunate moment there.
Looks like he just dipped the wheels into the dirt. We might have seen a little flash of Bennett there on the inside of the screen. Let's see what happened to him.
Yeah, something happened. I'm trying to catch it myself. Ooh.
Oh,
yeah.
And the first driver we've witnessed getting that 24X.
Soup.
Place of the counter at Amelia Earhart's Bar and Grill, baby. Meanwhile, Paul Darling, it's about 5 or 6 car lengths now to Billy Smith. Smith not letting him go.
Making him work for it, that's for sure. And only 2 minutes left. Something could still happen. I wouldn't put anything past this track or this series. Now, lap times, looking at 1:14, 1:13 for our prototypes. That means Simonic, as he comes to the line, is it going to be 1 lap or 2?
Oh, this is just crazy back here, guys. Romagnolo and McGarvey trying to get this done. McGarvey still digging. Leif Peterson having his own little battle, I think, just trying to stay in this race right now, getting stacked up behind them. I think that was Dino Topic. They were just getting by there.
Yeah, these guys are coming through. The Hill and Peterson are in a battle for position, and they're in the faster class. This could get ugly.
I think it's going to get ugly because McGarvey is not giving up on this fight here, trying to get ahead of Romagnolo. He's not just going to move out of the way here.
Let's stay with this, but for the record, 2 laps to go now that Simonic has crossed the line. Riding on board with Peterson.
Not liking what I see in here. Other than these are all veterans. Well, Romagnolo isn't, but he's out in front.
Oh, but Dave Hill can't quite make it through. Here comes Peterson. Peterson off track, trying to avoid getting into Hill. And both of the battles stay as they are.
Boy, Leaf, don't call me Garrett. Peterson there had quite a run going.
Yeah, couldn't do anything with it, though. In the Autobahn series, it ain't over until it's over. All 4 cars still all in a line. You can see those GTE cars having just a horrible time trying to lap GTDs because they're so close on pace. Here comes our leader, taking the white flag, crossing the line just behind them. He's going to want to have to navigate this safely, though. He's only got 4 seconds to spare. Oh, Hill getting so close to the inside of McGarvey, almost running into him. Look at how circumspect our leader has to be. Can't stick it into turn 3. Gets by one of them. How quickly can he sneak through? Oh, he's going to make it 3 wide. Now is finally, we've got the car of...
He had to get on the binders right behind Romagnolo there.
Well, Alex Ella's only 1.5 seconds behind Simonik.
He lost a lot of time, but now Simonik has to do the same, and he actually goes off track to try and run him down. He wants it. He's hungry, but there's no other traffic in front of Alex Simonik. Alex only has to do 3 more corners. There's one of them, through Rainey. Next up into turn 10. It's been a long time coming. It's taken many races, multiple seasons, but Simonik, as he takes the final corner, that number 250 is going to take his maiden win here at Laguna Seca.
Oh no!
Let's get a replay. Yeah, we'll go back. Well, we'll save it. Dave Hill, they got together.
Jeffrey Ooms going to be the next one across the line. It's been an easy win for him. Smooth as you like to take his 4th win of the season. Jeffrey Ooms.
Haley just through 6 now.
He's got 27 seconds of a gap between himself and McGarvey. And so McGarvey and all that, we'll go to the replay later. It looks like he got the position over Romagnolo.
He did, because Romagnolo got tipped in turn 11.
Oh. We'll get back to that replay after we watch Bradley Haley collect yet another trophy for his mantle. Trying so hard to get maximum points. He does it today when Savretic is not here to respond and extends his lead in the championship. Bradley Haley wins at Laguna Seca. All right, let's take a look at this action.
Yeah, it's insane. Romagnolo, there at the front, hanging on to it. And he'll get out of turn 11, and it's going to all bad down into 10. Get out of turn 10, and it goes all bad down into 11.
Hill behind him, and then Hill just outbreaks himself because he's trying to hold back Peterson, who got to his inside.
Yep.
And Hill runs out of incidents. Wow. What bizarre circumstances. Hill, that means he's going to lose a lot of positions. My goodness, what a awful way to end a race, but great way to end it for our 3 winners. We're going to come back and bring you the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, but stick around because on screen you're going to see all the upcoming races here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Welcome back to Laguna Seca. We wondered whether round 7 here in the Autobahn Motorcar Group Sportscar Challenge would deliver us some action. It did not disappoint, and it definitely didn't disappoint Alex Simonik, who at the line won by a mere 3.4 seconds for his maiden win. Alex Ellis, only his second race in this series. He gave it his hardest, but it just was not enough. And Robert Tinsley fell victim to just bad circumstances. Could have had an easy win, but it slipped through his fingers, and he still gets a podium out of it. Cy Andra, just not a good day in general for Cy. Still managed to fourth, but that's going to hurt his championship hopes. Daniel Gralty finished in the 5th position in the HPDs, and Carter Kundinger was behind him. Boy, it was all up and down for Carter. He had some great battles, but just didn't give him the good results. Lionel Duprat finished in 7th, and John Ulmer, the cheese was pretty much off the pizza since the early stages. He takes home an 8th. Mark Wilson finishes in 9th, and Chris Pence rounds out our prototype still out on the track in 10th. Bill?
Jeffrey the Mantra Ooms, not quite wire to wire as he did a pit stop, but he comes home about 20 seconds ahead of Paul Darling. Darling gridded 5th, made his way around Billy Smith, Ryan Huff, and Leif Peterson to get that 2nd spot. As for the rest, well, they finished in that order. Billy Smith, Ryan Huff, and Leif Peterson. Jimbo Pfeiffer, didn't hear much from him. Is going to be 6th in class. Miguel Meyer and Samuel Scott are the cars that finished close to the front in the GTLMs. Sean?
All right, Soup, and we'll get down to the GTDs. And it's going to be Bradley Haley, your big winner there. Bradley Haley finishes first. That's right where he started. Scott McGarvey, 2nd place finish. He's going to wrangle that away from Giuliano Romagnolo, who, well, a little bit of trouble down there in turn 11. We saw on the replay. He'll finish 3rd, completing our podium. Sheldon Rosenbaum finishes 4th in class. Ross Booth, 5th. Sheldon Malosian, 6th. Matt Owens going to finish 7th today. Dino Topic, not a great day for him. Poor guy can't buy any luck, man. He'll finish 8th. Tim McLeish in 9th. Robert Sklenka. Robert, my hat's off to you today, sir. Good job, man. Pretty scary moments out there for Robert. He'll finish 10th. Sean Reese, 11th. Brian Bennett, tough day in his Audi. He'll finish 12th, and that'll complete the GTD class. And let's see. Let's take everybody else here real quick. Patrick Fleming, big trouble for him. 11 laps down, 33rd. David Stockrider. Dale Green, Mark Schindel, and Scott Corbin going to round out the 37-car field here, boys.
With that, let's bring in our winner overall, Alex Simonik, and talk to him about that win today. Alex, it took a few seasons. It took some circumstances unfolding in your favor, but now that you finally broke the duck, how do you feel?
Look, I'm just ecstatic. It took way too long to get my first win. But as soon as I saw Brian get loose and Tinsley right on the side of him, it's just, I don't know. I didn't want to win like that, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
Now, Ellis seemed to be creeping up on you pretty quickly in those final 15 minutes. Did you have a problem with fuel, or was that just raw pace he was gaining on you?
As soon as I went past Tinsley, Carter said you have about 7 seconds to Ellis behind you. So I just kept cruising and just watching the relative. I just didn't want to push so hard.
Gotcha. Survival mode, I take it. Yep. Well, you gave us a heart attack. We kept watching it go down and down, and we wondered if there was a problem. Well, now that you've got this one done, do you think there's more in store this season? This has been a bit of a bizarre one for the HBDs, just a lot of unexpected results.
Yeah, with Mike Young coming in and getting his first win, and I think Alex Ellis is going to come up and get a win really quick, but I feel like the tight tracks really suit me, and over in Japan, Suzuka and Motegi are going to be good competition for all of us there.
All right. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank ClaneOD.net for letting me run their paints for the remainder of the season, as I did switch over to Team Bushfink Racing. And then thank you to Carter Kundinger, also being my teammate, and also Jeff Ooms over at Bushfink Racing as well.
All right. Well, again, congratulations. Go enjoy some celebration.
Thank you.
That was Alex Simonik. Excuse me. Alex Simonik taking the win in the HPDs. Let's go over to, let's see, we've got Jeffrey Ooms, the winner, and the GTLM's ready to talk to Bill.
Jeffrey, it's never easy. It was almost wire to wire. You had a pit stop a little bit earlier and you lost the lead a little bit. Laguna Seca, a favorite track of yours, or do you just survive it?
It's right up there with one of my favorites, I'd have to say. But it's also just a survival match at the same time. Right off the start, I didn't think that I would pull away as quick as I did there. And then after probably 5 or 6 laps, I took a look down at my relative and saw I had about 8 to 10 seconds. I was really surprised at that. So I was kind of just racing my relative from there on out, and then just trying to avoid traffic at all costs, try not to make any contact, because that's just pretty much the game plan every week, is just not make any contact and just try to be smooth.
I think Billy Smith probably thought his best chance of winning this thing was to jump you at the start. Did you notice him getting a run there that he had to back off a bit?
Yeah, I did for sure. I just kind of waited till he would slow back down, then I just took off on him there, so got a good jump.
Let me talk to you about this. I've asked talented drivers this before. When you are that far in front, do you back off a little bit, race at 90%? I've talked to some drivers that say, yeah, I slow down. And other drivers say when I race at 90%, I lose my rhythm. What do you do?
I try to just go harder almost, and I almost crashed a few times, to be honest. But I find it's just almost too hard to get out of your rhythm to try to go at 90%. So I find if you can keep it at that, maybe 95, 98% instead of going 110, it usually works out pretty good. But if I kind of set my relative number 2, then I can stay within a few tenths of that. It kind of helps me not daydream and make mistakes and things like that.
Interesting. Well, congratulations on another win. Season looking good for you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Jeffrey the Monster is your winner in the GTLMs today, Joe.
And let's see, do we have our winner in the GTDs? Yes, we do. Bradley Haley has joined us, so Sean's going to discuss that race with him.
B-Rad, talk to us about it, man. Another dominating win for you here at Mazda Raceway. You have a little bit of fun out there tonight?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, especially at Laguna. My family and I have been there about 3 times to watch some motorcycle racing, so it's fun to actually be in a car driving around the track.
Yeah, a track that you're so familiar with, and I'm glad you mentioned motorcycles racing there. You know what? The racing there doesn't get much more exciting than when they're on 2 wheels, does it?
No, yeah, we saw MotoGP there a couple years ago, in World Superbike, AMA. So it's a great circuit, and I really enjoy it. So it was fun to get out there and put in some good laps and build a gap.
Now, it looks like you had a pretty good strategy with the traffic. It was basically just get out of the way. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, at the last race, that was kind of my plan, was to see if I could build a gap, and then I could control the traffic, so to speak, to where I kind of choose where they pass me at. And so yeah, that was kind of the plan again: build a gap and then get just completely out of the way.
Well, you open it up quite a bit on the field. What was your pit strategy going in?
Run it dry. I think I had.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have much left. I actually fuel saved on that last lap before I pitted, and then just get out there and push as hard as I could.
Well, buddy, it was fun watching you dominate the field. Yes, it's not boring watching someone dominate, to be honest with you. You were wheeling it around this track, a tough one indeed. Get a couple weeks off, and then we head over to Japan. What do you think about that circuit over there?
Are we going to Suzuka, I think, is the next one?
That's what they tell me.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It should be good. I got quite a few laps from the BES races there, so it'll be fun. It's going to be another tough track to get passes done in. The first half of the track is going to be really tight, so should be exciting.
Well, it should be. Hey, again, congratulations. Go celebrate this one and enjoy your holiday, my friend. We'll see you in a few weeks.
All right. Thanks, guys. You guys as well. Have some time off. Take care.
All right. That was Bradley Haley, our big winner in the GTD class, boys.
Real quick, we're going to try and get a couple quick ones because we have a lot of people that want interviews, so we'll quickly pull in Alex Ellis. And Alex, sorry that we don't have a lot of time to talk, but I want to go all the way back to the beginning of the race, your initial spin. When that happened, did you still think the win was on the cards?
I was having a stutter issue with my Oculus at the start, and it was kind of messing with my references, and I just made a stupid mistake. But I didn't really think I had a shot at the win. I knew that things can happen, especially with the traffic and how tight Laguna is. But I figured I would just push as hard as I can and make it as far back up the field as I could.
Real quick before we let you go, do you think the first win will happen this season for you in the AMGSE?
I'll make it happen. I've set that as my goal, and I'll be back continually until it happens.
And up next, that was Alex Ellis, second place in the HPDs. Up next, we've got Giuliano Romagnolo, who's going to be talking to Sean.
Giuliano, hey, great race, man. But there at the very end, you had second all locked up. Talk to us about what happened down there in turn 11.
I think there's just a bunch of cars going into the last corner there, and I don't know if I broke too soon or the guy behind me locked up and hit me, but I'm finishing third, so it is what it is. On to the next race.
You work so hard to keep McGarvey back behind you and to lose there in the end. You got to feel a little gutted. I got to tell you, it was an exciting race to watch. You two were locked up the whole race.
The entire race, if it wasn't for traffic, I think we would have been less than half a second away from each other the entire race. But my tires are going towards the end of the race, so it was really hard defending. But like the last couple of corners before the checkered there, I thought I had it for sure in the bag second, but things happen.
Soup, did you have something you wanted to ask Giuliano?
I just want to know about him. I hear the Canadian accent. Are you from what do you do?
I'm from Toronto, Canada. I actually live pretty close to Alex Ellis. Other than that,
you're a student. You're a working man.
I'm a project manager for a company called Penguin Basements. We do high-end renovations.
Wait a minute. There's a company in Canada called Penguin Basements. Penguin, like the bird, like the bird,
like the cute cuddly animal.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, take a look. Yeah, we do some high-end renovations. So, I'm the project manager for that company.
Okay, I didn't know there were penguins in Canada, but it's cold enough. I'm sure if they were, they'd get along well. Hey, well, it's nice to get to know you. Well, before I let you go, what's your preferred car on iRacing?
Right now, I'm really loving the BSS series, but I think come Daytona, I'll be running the DP. So, I'm pretty fond of.
Well, you're fast in the GTD class today. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, Giuliano. Thank you. And Soup.
Penguin Basements, baby.
Yeah, Penguin Basements. Gotta love it.
That's his cover story, right, Bill?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I had forgot he's a spy. That's right.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm surprised it didn't go that direction. Well, anyways, let's wrap it up so our poor director can get some rest tonight. We want to thank the Autobahn Motorcar Group for being the official sponsor of the AMGSC season after season. And of course, thanks to John Ulmer and his team of workers who behind the scenes do a lot of organization to get this series off the ground. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts that are listed here on your screen. Additional thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Bill, Sean, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media. We're on Twitter at GSR Channel or Facebook at /GlobalSimRacingChannel. The next race, as we mentioned, we're hopping over the ocean across the Pacific to Suzuka in Japan. That'll be Monday, January 8th at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. But before then, have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas during our break. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.